Hold on. Let me pop out the chat. Live chat. A lot of this is going to be for people showing up who don't even know we're streaming. So, but I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna let a handful of people show up. I doubt a lot of people will show up, but mainly it's for people to catch up with what's going on. So I am actually moving in 2 days. Well, I'm gonna begin moving in 2 days. I gotta do different things, but it'll be this week. So in 2 days, I'm gonna begin the move, and then I'm renting a truck the next day after that. So I probably won't be set up to stream for another week. So don't look for a stream for maybe a week or two after this stream if you catch this. There was something I did want to talk about. I was going to do a little video on it, but maybe we'll just talk about it now. But for years, we speculated about The Walking Dead doing an animated show. And a lot of fans would, first off, you guys can hear me good and see me good. A lot of fans would talk about how it would be great getting a more accurate animated version of the Walking Dead comic. And if you're not familiar with The Walking Dead, it's been very split with the rights as far as the live action stuff being with AMC, live action figures and collectibles and statues and yada yada yada, and then the comic video games in the comic universe, the characters from the comic, and the animated style was always in the creator's wheelhouse, or he had the rights for that. And I would speculate, I wasn't sure what their contract was as far as, was it a timed issue, like AMC gave Kirkman 10 years and then he can do his own little show, but it can never be in live action. It can own, unless he fully reclaimed the rights. But that would mean that he could do an animated show after, this is what I guessed a while ago. I think we went over a different number of scenarios, but it doesn't matter because now Kirkman did an interview which laid out what exactly is going on, and it's not looking good for an animated show for The Walking Dead. Meaning, if we do get one, according to Kirkman, unless he reclaims the rights, and they don't go in the detail of when that would be, how that would be, unless he reclaims the rights, AMC actually has the rights. So before I was kind of speculating, does Kirkman still have the rights to do some type of comic book style, animated style? And the reason this is coming up, especially now, is because he has that Invincible show that's doing really good in that animated style. And so before we were thinking, as long as it's not live action, does he have the rights to do it? Well, it turns out, in fact, he doesn't. So unless AMC does it, he's not going to be able to do it. We can go over the article here real quick in case you haven't read it. Yeah, I just want to bring up A Violent Nature again. We'll go over that in a minute, but it's coming out in theaters at the end of May, and I'm definitely going to see it in theaters. I know there's a number of things I'm already a little on the fence about. Like I like the look of the killer, but not the face part of it. He kind of looks like I don't know, like someone who went scuba diving in 1923. Anyhow, and also I really love the concept, but I don't love it for an entire movie. We'll go over that in a minute. But here the article says that Robert Kirkman has explained why he has stalled his plans to reimagine The Walking Dead on TV as an animated series, while Kirkman has already ended his graphic novel narrative, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. The Walking Dead caught up in a knot of rights complexities that the creator would want to resolve before he considers moving forward with the project. Let me see if this is, because sometimes the articles have to have like certain amount of words, so they just dump a bunch of word salads in there. Like in the comic, Carol died at this, and in the show, she lived at this. We don't care. Get to the fucking point, you know? As per comicbook.com, in a recent revelation through the letter hacks, that's right, it was put in the letter hacks column of The Walking Dead Deluxe. That's the color version of the comic that they're putting out. Number 85, Kirkman shared his enthusiasm for bringing an animated adaptation of the horror saga to life so he could develop a faithful version of the story compared to that of the popular AMC series. But he was quick to temper expectations, acknowledging the project's feasibility hinges on him being able to reclaim the rights from AMC, something that seems very unlikely with the news surge in popularity of the franchise on the network, Kirkman wrote. I'd love to see it happen someday, but I don't think it's possible until I get the rights back from AMC. Whether Kirkman would be willing to consider working with AMC on such project is unclear, but it is something. I think my contact is bothering me. That's why I'm like, but it is something that has been suggested previously. In fact, one of AMC's first Walking Dead projects, I hate when they mention this because this is not at all what we're talking about with an animated project, but he says after securing the rights to the franchise involved the animation of Kirkman's original comic. Now it's funny because that was an animated comic, but that's more literally an animated comic. They took the comic pages and they have them move, but it's still wholly the comic art in the page and yada yada yada. It's not what we look at it's more like a literal animated comic. Which is a bit different when you're talking about enjoying it for an animation of like, here's the characters, adding color to them, different texture to them, different look to them, more movements and yada yada yada. Because the animated comic was literally just that drawing, and they cut it out in Photoshop and they move the drawing around, maybe make the mouths move or something like that. But anyhow, it says The Walking Dead was almost animated in 2010. You can go over the rights for this. I think this is 8-minute video. They keep covering the comic. This is not at all what any fans talk about when they want an animated. Maybe five fans out there want something like that. At that point, if you're just going to make the art on the page wobble a little bit, just let me read the comic. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to watch TV at that. So I can't stand when the news keeps bringing this up. They're both animated, but it's two totally different things, Anyhow, although there was a chance that the series could have been developed in animated form, then the live action approach certainly paid off in the long run, and that has primarily been the focus of AMC ever since. I think I fumbled that, but the franchise has dabbled with animation in the Red Machete web series, and they go on with a whole bunch of other nonsense. But the point of it is, Kirkman doesn't retain any. I was really hoping that he would still retain to some degree, as long as they don't do any live action, as long as they don't do ultra realistic art or animations. If you look at the Invincible TV show, it really looks like the comic art animated to life, given 3D dimensions to it and all that. But and that's kind of what I was really hoping he would be able to do with the comic. But it appears that AMC retains that, and I would love to know, because I know I've looked into other contracts where rights. Like, for example, there was one I was reading about years ago where it was a profit margin where the rights reverted back. Like when the profits plummeted, rights would revert back. And then there was another one where it was literally timed for a certain amount of years. I want to know, like, what is the like, and I also am aware there's a natural, what's this? There's like a natural, it's not even natural, but there's like a max amount of years and then the rights revert back. But if the company has enough money, like Disney, I think they can bogart that. But correct me if I'm wrong, because don't original writers and whatever, or maybe that falls a little bit different, because that's people working for the studio that write a story and create a character, and they regain the rights back to be able to use those characters. But the point though is, I would love for them to really flesh out for us, the fans, like, when will Robert Kirkman ever, in his lifetime, get the rights back? Is that even a hope? I mean, what could they do? Because I don't want AMC doing an animated show. I'll be honest with you. They're not going to do it good. And I just don't want them to be any... They already have the Walking Dead live action. I just don't want them to put their grubby little fingers on anything The Walking Dead. If we lived in a perfect world, the rights would just revert back to Kirkman. Hopefully he would do, something off the hook from that point on. He would never be able to use the characters from the AMC show. There'd never be another Andrew Lincoln Rick Grimes in that case. So that is kind of a double-edged sword, though. But anyhow, I wanted to cover that because that was something that, as fans for a few years, you guys have asked a number of different times. I know we brought it up in different Q&As and whatnot. So let's see what Omar says. I'd be curious about the animation style, and could it be in black and white like the comic book? I would be personally against the black and white. I know fans enjoy, sticking to black and white, but I'm a little bit different. I feel that Night of the Living Dead, and I get it's nostalgic in black and white, and when you watch it, it feels more authentic when you watch it in black and white, mainly because the color, that color crap they do with it is junk anyway. But black and white is basically just the lack of us. The lack of our, it's not even the lack too, because I just meant it's missing something. It doesn't gain it. It's missing color. I guess that's the best way in my mind. It's just missing color. So if we have a chance to do an animated walking, why would we not add color? Why? Just because Night of the Living Dead was in black and white and it was cheaper to make the comic in black and white, so they started the comic in black and white. You know what I'm saying? I bet you dollars to donuts, $1 million right now. If you went back in time, if you took Kirkman back in time and he knew what The Walking Dead would become, he probably would have just started it in color anyway. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason right now they're reprinting The Walking Dead comic in color. Black and white is just inferior, no matter how you cut it. It's just, you could be a hardcore Night of the Living Dead fan. It is just inferior. Do you watch Dawn of the Dead in black and white? No, because it's inferior. Night of the Living Dead is only in black and white because it was filmed in a time where it was that transition from black and white to color. It's missing the color. And it would be far better if they would have been able to film it in color. That's how I view it anyway. So I wouldn't even watch it if it was in black and white. This is 2024. I'm not watching 10 season long animated show in black and white. I'll tell you right now. And I don't think the mass fan base would either. I'll be honest with you. You should watch a video called The Walking Dead Comic Intro. It's a fan made animation that looks really cool. For some reason, I think we might have already checked some of those out. Is it real animation, or is it just the artwork moving around? Some of that could be cool. Don't get me wrong, but did you celebrate I don't think I think I've only celebrated 420 once in my life in high school. I don't give a shit. Not in a negative way. I get the 420 thing, but it's never stuck with me to have any personal meaning. So no, I didn't. So that pretty much covers it for The Walking Dead. We're not going to have a long stream. Damon, if you missed it, for a recap, animated is not going to happen because AMC actually does have the rights for all TV show when it comes to The Walking Dead, animated and whatnot. Kirkman would need to reclaim the rights. That likely is never going to happen. Or he can partner with AMC somehow, some way, and since he sued them, I doubt that'll even happen. So, animated, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. All right, and again, A Violent Nature comes out May 31st. I'm going to try to go see this in the theater. If you haven't seen the trailer, the concept is basically the camera, you kind of watch a Jason Voorhees-like killer rise up from the ground and go, hunting his victims in a campground. It might not be a campground, but that's how the trailer has the vibe. It's the vibe of some sort of campground. But that's the gimmick of it. You would follow this Jason Voorhees-like killer and just be a fly on the wall, so to speak, fly on the trees. Now, again, for the 100th time, I love that concept. However, I think it overdoses on that gimmick. But I have to watch it to really see. And I want them to keep the gore. I want them to do something interesting and neat with that gimmick. But I still feel like that would have been perfect for some lingering shots in a slasher movie, not as the whole movie. But I'm going to theaters to see it. I know some people have already gotten early viewing of it. I guess it was at some film festival, and it's made by Shudder, produced by Shudder. I don't know how that works, to be honest. I haven't looked into it. And it was directed by Chris Nash. That name sounds real familiar, though. I know that. I'm so hyped for a violent nature. I'm hyped as hell for it. I really hope it's at least solid. It doesn't have to be like the most amazing thing. I just want it to be at least solid, you know? Hopefully when AMC loses the rights, yeah, that would be good. I don't know, man. AMC, I don't think we're ever going to have another high when it comes to The Walking Dead. If it remains in the hands of AMC, unless they finally go hands off and, you know, there's some project gets a budget that can actually be put towards it. We heard about the estimated budget, and this was only known because someone in politics was bragging about the money that's being invested into the area they were filming. Don't forget that. That's not like, oh, here's the budget we used for the Rick and Michonne show. That's not how that was leaked. If it was ever leaked after the fact or announced, let me know. But as far as we know now, it was just some politician being like, because we let them film here, this is how much money they spent here. And it was like around $80 million. But that could be inflated. Most definitely is inflated. But it's also taking into consideration other things that doesn't directly go into what we see on screen in any way, shape, or form. So there's probably right off the top 20 or 30 million of that doesn't even come near the camera. That won't even affect what we see. So even though it sounds like there's a bigger budget, we can already tell with the Rick and Michonne show they had they definitely pulled it off with what appeared to be a solid budget, but that is still a major issue when it comes to The Walking Dead, and it's holding it back. Post-apocalyptic shows and movies are expensive. You gotta change everything, and yeah, Trap looks good. The only thing I hope, though, is when does that come out? August 9th, 2024. If you haven't seen this yet, Josh Hartnett takes his daughter to some famous pop star's concert. And while inside the concert, he goes to get drinks or something, and he notices there's a ton of cops out there. And he asks one of the guys at the concession stand, yo, what's up with all these cops? And he's like, oh, you didn't hear this from me, but there's some crazed killer that the cops have trapped here. Some crazed serial killer. And then Josh Hartnett checks his phone, and it has like some guy chained up at his house. It's like some security camera watching the guy. Now, it's M. Night Shyamalan, so I already know his daughter's either the serial killer, and there's some crazy thing where he's trying to keep her from getting caught, or the guy chained up is the serial killer for real, and he is trying to get revenge. Maybe the serial killer killed his wife, and he wants to get his revenge, so we think he has him chained up. But in reality, he wants to make it out of there and get revenge and yada, yada, yada. Or maybe not get caught with a guy chained up in his house. That's the real serial killer. But it doesn't matter. My point is, as long as it's not glaringly obvious from the trailer or right away by like, oh, the twist, I'll be excited for it. So we'll see how it plays out. If it's any one of those two dumb immediately, like, oh, that's the twist, then as long as it's not that, we should be all right. It should be entertaining, It is dumb catching a serial killer in a rock concert with all those innocent civilians. However, if you're into true crime, there has been really ridiculous scenarios that have happened that have just, played out that way. And it's not like he's going to go butchering everybody in this, in the fucking building. So, but it is a little bit of a stretch, but movies are supposed to be fun. And this is part of what I talk about when we get into suspension of disbelief, especially like with the zombie stuff. The zombie should be the only thing that's not natural. Everything else should be as close as realistic, unless you're doing something that's flimsical or, some fantasy shit. But you want to have fun with entertainment. So it might be a little stupid having that concept of the cops trap the serial killer in a concert. We don't know we don't know how this played out. There could be a thing where it's like, we're trying to get this killer. They got some clue that he's at this concert. This is their only chance to locate him. Then, I mean, it is what it is. And the thing though is, like, we want to have fun with these movies. We want them to be grounded to a point and entertaining, but because you don't want the Josh Hartnett to suddenly fly away. That'd be like, okay, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, so he takes her. He takes her and he notices all these cops. He asks this guy. This is weird because he talks to him like he's never seen him before. He's like, "Hey, my name's Cooper." Like he's at a concession stand. Like, what the fuck do you?
What's with all the police?
Who meets?
The cameras everywhere, Jamie. I'm not supposed to tell.
I don't know, but then he tells him, he's like, "Oh yeah, they got him trapped in here, the serial killer."
That goes around just chopping people up.
Where's this at?
This whole concert.
Where is this at? This whole concert's a trap. Yeah, so he goes in a room and checks the security. Live basement. This guy's all like, I'm down for it. I hope it's decent. I can't play anymore. They're gonna get me with the music. M. Night Shyamalan. I can never say his fucking name. It's hard for me to trust M. Night Shyamalan at this point. Yeah, he's fumbled the bag. Some of his older ones that I really liked, probably Signs is probably one of his best. Signs. Joaquin Phoenix was great in that. Him and Mel Gibson. I love The Village. I love that. I went into that movie not knowing anything. Oh, except I think I started watching the trailer because all I knew was, and back then, if I started watching a trailer and the moment I was like, yes, I want to see this, I would stop watching the trailer and just go and see it because everyone knows they show too much. But all I knew about Village was that it takes place in olden day and there's a monster.
M. Night has disappointed me too many times, but I'd love to watch your review on it to see if I should watch it.
I'm trying to think of another one. Let me go over here. I'm trying to think of another one. I didn't put it in. Well, thank you very much, Anonymous. Oh, shit. Was that a $40 tip? Hell yeah. Thank you very much. I'm going to need every bit of that to help. Actually, the tip money is going towards, maybe this is some good news coming up. Between the tips, I think you guys over the last few months have donated a few $100. I think it's like $500 or $600 into the tips that I'm putting towards a new computer. I'm gonna throw in the rest, and that's only because I started a new job not 8 months ago, and it was going decent. So I'm doing HVAC training now. Once I know my stuff with HVAC, I'll be making decent money. So things will be finally looking good. but I am going to be, throwing that tip money in with my money to grab a new computer after the move. And I've already started looking, and I think it'll be fantastic because of how my computer's decent. However, it really chugs when you do big edits, and it really chugs when you do more high def video because it's bigger files. So that's why one reason, especially doing the flaw versus all reviews, is so taxing, because once you start getting past 9 minutes with all the edits, every time you hit a button, there's like a 10-second delay because it has to like chug to get going. There's just that much, and then when I have a 20-minute, 25-minute video of the flaw versus all review and it's the full edit, when I play it to preview it in the window, I can't actually watch the preview. That's why some of my edits have weird mistakes, because I can't see what it looks like. The file is so big, the preview window is choppy, and I'm trying to watch it. If you don't know in editing, you probably don't understand it, but you can't see shit. Put it that way. So that's actually really exciting, because then for some of the videos I've been really wanting to make lately and I haven't been able to just because the computer struggles, stream elements. I'm actually really excited for that. The only thing I do on my computer is I want to play the upgraded version of Days Gone. I think the mod is called Dawn of the Dead, or Days of the Dawn of the Dead, or something like that. And apparently that looks really, really good. So I want to replay Days Gone. Maybe play a couple other zombie games that are on the PC. I want to play Sons of the Forest. What was that other one? There's a couple other like PC games that aren't on console, but mainly it's for video editing. So let me see here. Let's see, stream elements, because I'll put you on the leaderboard, but I want to log in. And thank you very much. Where are we at? Again, thank you very much, Anonymous. I'm trying to think of that other M. Night movie, because you said that M. Night has disappointed you too many times, but love to watch your review. If it's decent, I'll definitely talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to put you on the top tip here. And he's definitely let me down a bit as a fan. I'll just do A9. I don't like the guy from Sons of Anarchy. He killed Opie's wife. What? Huh? What are we talking about? It'd be like a 2013 movie, Prisoners. It's actually looked pretty dope. Can you please convince me the Joker 2 movie is going to be good? Because I think it looks awful and it's a musical. That's a pass for me. Well, I'm not going to watch a musical. I'll tell you right now. You guys can let me know by your comments, like, holy shit, no, Ronnie, you're wrong. Go and check it out. Now, I was wrong about the original Joker because I didn't like the look. I didn't think it had that much charisma. I was totally wrong, though. The movie brought the look together. I will say one thing that has me not at all liking the trailer for Joker 2. It's a bunch of reruns. Like, if I want to watch Joker dancing down the stairs, I'll watch fucking Joker. If I want to watch Joker doing, 17 of his different trademark things that we've already seen in Joker, I'll watch that. If you watch Joker 2 trailer, let me see the Joker 2 trailer. It's the same, but I'm gonna wait for the viewer base, because I'll be damned if I'm watching a fucking musical. The first one wasn't a musical. They're claiming that it has purpose for this to be a musical. I don't give a shit, man. I'm not watching no damn musical. There's like 19 songs in it too. Like, fuck that, man. Musicals suck. It could be one thing if maybe I didn't mind musicals, but I loathe them, like, with a passion.
within ourselves.
Like some of this in the trailer is great. I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. You know, got colorful umbrellas, which doesn't make any sense. They, you know, probably be black. I don't know, in real life. But you have, is this Harley Quinn going up the steps, doing the same shit Joker did? And is she a patient here? I don't like when they change things like that that are so much a part of her character, because I thought she seems like more of a patient in the trailer. But anyhow,
I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
And how does she know about this too? Again, this is like just grabbing something from what happened in the first movie, and I'm trying to think. I mean, did he do anything when he was on camera that is similar to this, but the way she does it reenacts when he was in the hallway with, you know, yada yada yada. Okay. Yeah, and he's in a nut house with I don't know, man. We'll see when it comes to Arkham. Some of this looks lame as shit too. Like this looks lame as fuck. This doesn't look bad though. And again, that could be just him, obviously. Just this is probably not real. This is probably in his head. And that part I really am not a fan of. I think they did it. They did it with just enough, and it was my least favorite part of the original, having the girl all in his head. But they kept it in the movie. If you break the movie down, it's in there very little, and that's fine if it's in it very little, because don't waste my time with something that's in their head. If you're doing something where it's like, oh, it was all in their head, then don't fill a lot of the movie with it, because then in retrospect, it makes those scenes pointless, because the only moment is just hooking you and getting you to grab onto the idea that it's in his head. Anything after that is just filler, visual filler. I'm hoping this stuff is something that's really happening. But yeah, he's running away from another Joker. I'm interested in that. What's that about? The other guy gets creamed by a car. Yeah, just some of this stuff. Yeah, this looks like junk. I am definitely hoping I am just flat wrong, and this is amazing, because I loved the first movie. Even like I admitted, I never liked the Joker look in the trailer of the first one. I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't think it popped, you know. Later I got it though, because you had his look that was grounded and everything. But the look of Joker was when he put the blood on his face, which they copy here. And that's another thing too, where it's like, you're fucking showing us everything from the first movie. But Harley Quinn looks like ass here, you know. But I thought the same thing of Joker, so I'm in that place where it's like, okay, it looks like ass, but maybe it works when you see everything together. Because this right here, maybe it's a more muted Harley, but it just doesn't look visually interesting.
Tell us, what's changed? Are there?
Again, here, you know, with his kick and going down the stairs, and you have Harley doing it now. I don't know. I got to see it all together, but it just feels like, oh, the fans love that, so let's do it again.
I'll tell you what's changed.
You know.
I'm not alone anymore.
I do want to see a little more violence. The first one was tame. People were like, oh my god, it's so violent. It was tame as fuck. What are you talking about? One guy gets stabbed. A couple people shot. I'm down for shit blowing up. I'm down for that. Yeah, and now she's wiping her, she's doing the Joker blood again. The same thing that they did in the first movie. I don't want to butcher this.
I want to see the real you.
Some of this is fine though. Like I like the makeup on the glass, like they do that. I don't know. Some of it is fine where it's like I could see that working really well. But I want nothing more than to be totally wrong about the trailer. Because the trailer was, if you take out the music and how they hype you up with some of the false starts, I'm really worried about it. Too much copying what was in the first one. And the reason why that becomes an issue is oftentimes the movie makers are so focused, or the creatives are so focused on, okay, you know what? I went with my gut, and I made a gamble on this thing, and the fans loved it. And, sometimes maybe they don't understand it fully why the fans loved it. So then they get into this kind of, not undecided, but not so confident. And they're like, okay, well, they love that, so let me jam it in here, and this is why he does it. So it is a little flaky. It's superficial, but we'll see. And that's why I think it could be a problem. So I can't convince you Joker 2 is going to be good. I just hope I'm wrong and it's amazing. I love the first one. I want to love the second one, but I will not see it day one. I'm probably not even going to see it week one. I'm going to wait to hear what people have to say. And I'm almost against giving any money for a musical, so we'll see. HVAC, oh, money, baby. Yeah, what I'm gonna do to get experience though is working for companies, so it won't be like money, but it'll definitely be more money than most other jobs in the area that you could just go to. Because I didn't go to college or nothing, so. But I also don't have college debt, so maybe that equals out, However, once I get the experience, I could make some real good money doing it for residential. So that's part of the game plan. Ronnie, you see the guy who played Tig from Sons of Anarchy has signed on for the Maggie and Negan show? I think I did see that somewhere. I really like that guy. I don't like the guy from Sons of Anarchy. He called up his wife. Oh, that's what that comment is for. Yeah, Tig killed the shit out that bitch. 7 Days to Die is coming out of early access finally. Are you watching Chucky season 3 part 2? Yeah. My brother just asked me about that. He's like, are you watching that Chucky show? And I said, it started with some potential and it was a bit rocky. Then it turned into ridiculous cringe. And then it turned into, then it absolutely turned into fucking off the wall, just enjoyable nonsense. It is enjoyable nonsense. But some of it, you can tell he was getting his footing because the writer's gay, and I guess, I don't know, maybe with Hollywood and the state of things, he had to make it like a part of his show, which, they do it in a way that's ultra cringy though, instead of being organic. And that kind of struggled because again, they want to have on Twitter, they want Chucky to be like, oh, look, here's posts of, Chucky, the killer, the murderer, being like pro LGBTQ, which is so fucking retarded, so cringy. You could tell that's how their brain works though. They want to see Twitter being like, oh, look, Chucky loves the gays. And then they put it in the fucking show. But when you think about like the type of person this is a sadistic, torturing, like absolutely fucked individual, like to his core. And it's just nonsensical to want to add that the way they do it, It would have been so much better if it was done in a more complex way. You know what I'm saying? Like Chucky does not say certain things that he absolutely would. But he's not allowed now. So you can see where they handicap him as a character. Anyhow, it's fucking ludicrous, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the show goes off the rails, but it's kind of fun. So I am going to watch part 2. Joker 2 will be good knowing the first one, and it's not a musical. The director said the music sets the tones throughout the movie. I don't believe that at all. It's not a musical. They came out, hold on, maybe I'm wrong. They came out and said there's 19 music singing songs in it. Let me see. Joker 2 musical. We could be wrong. Let me see what it says. Is Joker 2 going to be musical? First trailer show, blah, blah, blah. The movie will be mostly a jukebox musical. It contains at least 15 new versions of well-known tracks. What does a jukebox musical mean? Todd Phillips explains the musical. Bro, I swear though, if they say like, oh, it's not a musical, but because you know how a musical is it's very structured where like they tap dance and they're like, not tap dance, they tap and they're talking, but then they go into their I went down to the bar and I did this and I slapped a hoe and I grabbed a Navajo and stabbed him in his face. But it's, you know, instead of that, if they do it to where it's done in music set pieces, that's still a fucking musical. You know what I'm saying? If they sing and they're doing all this shit, it's a musical. The Joker and Harley Quinn are set to serenade audiences, blah, blah, blah. Let me look in here's this. Musical details, variety. Insiders privy to filming an early version of Todd Phillips' eagerly awaited sequel to Joker tell Variety the movie leans heavily towards being mostly a jukebox musical. I don't know what that means. As it integrates at least 15 interpretations of well-known songs. One is said to be That's Entertainment from 1953 musical The Bandwagon, famously associated with Judy Garland. However, there is a door open for an original song or two to be added to the final version. Details regarding who would pen the tracks, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter. Composer of the first Joker, infuser of distinctive haunting music cues into each number. Jukebox musicals, known for featuring popular songs, often achieve box office success. Examples include Mamma Mia, Moulin Rouge, and the latter receiving 8 nominations, Oscar nominations. Joker 2 is expected to break the mold of traditional musicals, but still a fucking musical. Specific details about the plot of Folie à Deux have not been officially confirmed, blah, blah, blah. Place around Arkham Asylum. Okay. Let me see. Mamma Mia, Moulin Rouge. Now, Moulin Rouge I have seen. One of my girlfriends in the past wanted me to see Moulin Rouge. Let me just double check, because in my mind's eye, that sounds familiar. So, Moulin Rouge. Yeah, that's a fucking musical. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the example they show is a goddamn musical. I don't give a fuck if it breaks the traditions. It's a fucking musical. Look at Obi-Wan here, being a little bitch. I'll be glad if I'm wrong, and it's still good, though. But it's a fucking musical. I like Grease, says Lady Hopetep. I'm not watching a Joker musical. That is not it. No way it's proper musically. I think it's just seeing the Joker do more weird dances. Stephen Mills, you're in denial if you don't think it is partially a musical. It is a fucking musical, you know? The Joker himself might not sing. There is a chance for that because that would be cringe as shit. But it's going to have those musical elements, especially casting Lady Gaga. You know damn well she's going to have a number of songs. Are you going to check out the Fallout show? Yeah, I actually finished Fallout. That's why I put it up here to remind me to maybe discuss it if you guys are watching it or not. Fallout is I think Fallout is a great example of modern day good TV that still shows you they just don't hit like they used to. Because I enjoyed Fallout. I enjoyed the ending of Fallout just because it wasn't like oh wow, exciting, but it had a story that intertwined in a way where it was like classic TV, where it just, oh no shit, oh he was blah blah blah, and And I like how it adds depth to the characters and the world building. And it really changes things about some of the characters when you first see them, and changes who they are and how you feel about them. And it is entertaining. However, if you look at the whole and where they got, there's plenty of it that kind of splashes around like they're drowning into 2 feet of water, you know? And I think Fallout, the show, is a perfect example of good modern TV that's missing like that powerful punch of charm. It has charm and it has charisma and it has things about it. Like the casting did real good with the guy in the suit, the knight. He has a really good appeal about him, where when he's laughing or a little goofy, it works really well. But then they have his more dry scenes that struggle a lot, you know? And I don't blame it on the actor at all. The actor did a fantastic job. I think it's what they were having him do and how they were having him do it in the more dry scenes. It kind of struggles a bit. And the casting of the girl, Lucy Goosey, fantastic. She's cute as hell. She fits that naive to this world, not dealing with how shit people are up top. The casting is great. I mean, she fit the role good. The Ghoul was fantastic. Walter Goggins is a great actor. He fit that role good. And we can go on and on and on. The world building was decent. I wanted a little bit more. Some of it gets stale. Some of it is a little bit modern day. Like you'll hear like "Make America Great," and you know where they're going with it. They'll do like certain things, and you know where they're going with it. That's some of their own personal shit slipped into it. You could just tell because it overdoses a little here. Luckily, it is pulled back, and I think that's because a lot of it, it would be hard to force that shit down your throat because of what's happening on screen, like traveling the wasteland. It's a little hard to throw modern politics in that and cram it down your throat and fucking molest your goddamn deep throat you with their beliefs and shit. But which is what a lot of Hollywood is doing nowadays with TV. But anyhow, I would recommend it. I would also recommend it with the caveat that it is good modern day TV show where it just it really misses that punch that makes it amazing. But it's modern day. It's close to as good as we're gonna get, Anyhow. Joker 2 trailer, pretty much Harley doing the same shit as the black girl. Just hope he's not imagining it again. I don't think they could do that, to be honest. That would be really brain dead for them to do that. They probably want you to think he's imagining it, and then it ends up real. And that's like oh shit, I really thought they were going to do he's imagining it again. That would be insane to bring Harley in, but it's all in his head. That would just be... That would be bad, in my opinion. Did you ever see the Joaquin Phoenix when he was a kid, played an 86 Space Camp movie and had a different acting name? I've seen a lot of Joaquin Phoenix movies. And Space Camp? That I don't remember, though. Joker 2 going to be like 1982 Best Little Whorehouse in Texas musical movie. Indeed. I don't even think they planned a second one, neither do I think it was needed. I'm always glad if we get something good. We'll see. Ronnie, let's get a stand. No, fuck no. Jared Leto's Joker is terrible. Were you ever interested in the Thing 2011 prequel? What'd you think of it? I thought the CGI ruined it. They copied too much, and this is Hollywood's common mistake, copied too much from the first one. I adore how they connected what happened with the aftermath from the original. That I fucking love. However, I really wish they would have done more with that original. In all honesty, 2011 fails in a way that modern, like, I like the female lead in 2011, but she shouldn't have been there. Should have been all dudes. I know in the original, it was all dudes, and it fit the time. And for the other factory, they showed the other camp. I believe they showed images, and it's all dudes, and it's all Norwegians or whatever they did. They should have just done what they needed to do. Have you watched the trailer for Maxine yet? No, and I wanted to make... No, I'm sorry. Yes, and I wanted to make a mini video hyping that up because Maxine looks fucking awesome. I haven't seen Pearl yet fully. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a drink. Give me 2 minutes. But, yeah, give me 2 minutes. All right, my bad. out of here. All right. So yeah, I was talking about Maxine. That looks really good for anyone who might not know. The first movie was X. The next movie was Pearl, which is about one of the characters from X, played by the same actor. The same actor played two different characters in X, Mia Goth. And it's about the villain from X. It's her prequel, the movie Pearl. And then Maxine is the final girl from X, who's still played by Mia Goth. It's her aftermath of X. Wow. It's not as complicated as it sounds. But that looks really fun. Do you have any stories, alternate comics, on the back burner that could be available to the public? Yeah. Yeah, but right now, I'm going to be moving, upgrading the computer, restocking. The plan is for the summer to restock Doomsday Kingdom fully, so that way anything and everything we have currently in stock is available, and then see what we're doing with releases for that. And then I do want to have other things that are shorter, completed stories, because Doomsday Kingdom is a very long story, but shorter ones. So, but in due time, because everything's got to be, one thing after the next. But I would love to do some stuff. Ronnie, you've convinced me. I had high hopes knowing how good the first one was, but I suppose casting Gaga's Harley and they wanted the known singer, plus I'm sure she's singing in the trailer. Well, if you didn't know, Steven, it's definitely musical to some degree, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't see it. I know for me, it's just something I'm not going to be into. And I'll wait to see what the people say. San Andreas X says, I watched all episodes of Fallout. I thought it was decent, but not great. Wished we seen more creatures. Yeah, the weird monster with the fingers in the mouth. I mean, that's great, because it's weird and creepy, and the fingers are really weird. But man, it's 2024 and CGI is still rough. Like, how the fuck is that possible? How can people get on YouTube and random ass people like us make some shit and people are second guessing, like, whoa, what the fuck, But these studios with a ton of money make, some bullshit. It's just insane. And money don't mean nothing. Like, just as a quick example, like, even when I'm learning HVAC stuff, there's stuff where, like, there's stuff where, for example, they might call out a professional to do a job. If you don't know the HVAC, let's say they're paying you and they're paying you 20 to 25 an hour, and they have to call someone out. For you, you might find the problem and then fix the problem. Let's say find the problem. You have to locate the problem. Let's say you locate a leak or something. You might locate that problem and you did it in about an hour and a half. So the company's out of pocket for that hour and a half, about $20 to $30, But then they call out a company, and that doesn't give a shit. Some companies are amazing. They'll come out, they're fantastic, but they're charging about $300 to do that job. And that's kind of like the CGI stuff. When you get work and this company's spending a ton of money, it really matters, I guess, on who's doing the CGI, because it doesn't matter on how much it costs, how much they're spending yet, because you can get that same job done for different prices. It all depends on the reasoning for it. Like, for example, with that HVAC scenario, and that's a real life scenario. You could be working on something if you know what you're doing, and the company might be out of pocket $50. They call in somebody. That somebody could be terrible, not even get the job right. They have to call someone in after that. Next thing, they're out of pocket like $700. And the job is still eventually completed, but the pricing, you wouldn't brag, oh, that's a $700 job, because you only really got a $40 job, Like the creature coming out of the water to get the girl, Lucy, that visually it was awful. I mean, absolutely awful. And I don't know. I feel like in 2024, it should be a lot better than what it was. Funny how they lost Jenna Ortega. They paid the money the actress who played Sydney wanted. What do you think the ending outcome would be for Joker 2? I don't know. I think it all depends. They would want to keep it open, I think, for something to follow. They already went for a sequel. I feel like they would want to keep it open. And it's a love story with Joker and Harley. I would say Joker 1 was, his story and it ended with his capture. I think Joker 2 needs to be ending in his release, some type of release, being out there, to infect the Gotham loose and on the run or whatever. I'm going to leave it as simply him being released, but you need that love story too. And knowing modern day, they're not going to lean into how toxic. I mean, maybe they'll be ballsy and lean into it, but Harley and Joker have a very anti-PC toxic relationship, and you can almost bet that they're gonna cut all that shit from it. I don't like the Super Bowl. Oh, the Browns. I read that as brownies. What the fuck? Quick shit. They still got a Batwoman movie. Wait, they still got a Batwoman movie out. They never released. Plus, it's got Michael Keaton's Batman in it. I wonder what's in it. Yeah, they're not doing that. I think they already canceled that and wrote it off on their taxes. I don't think they legally can release it. Finally, checked out Autopsy of Jane Doe. Meh, had a few solid moments. Dread and shown a bit. I never really was interested in that, I don't think. What's a better video game adaptation of a show in your opinion, Last of Us or Fallout? Show? I think Fallout is better than Last of Us for the TV show. Last of Us show is missing so much of what made the story great. I think as an adaptation, it fails so spectacularly. Best CGI ever was in a movie was Terminator 2. That's because they knew how to layer it. They knew how to really lay it on there and not overuse it. If you have Prime, you can Fallout 76 for free. You can play, I think you mean. I already have Fallout 76. Watch House of Wax 2005 was a creepy idea and a good gore. Do you like the Fallout show? I thought it was good, yeah. It's missing, it's missing greatness, but it's good. Ronnie, did you see apparently Charlie Hunnam and Jodie Comer, is that his name, are playing the main roles in 28 Days Later? I did see he was cast. I didn't see what role though. I'm game for him to be in whatever. Have you heard of the short Spider-Man horror film starring Chandler Riggs? I heard of it, yeah. I seen a little teaser of it. I don't want Kirkman involved anymore, to be honest. It says some cup of ice water. That's fair. You had a lot of fun with Cyberpunk. I think it'd be better playing it now that it's touched up. Joker, some cup of ice water says Joker 2 is promising but does not matter for DC. I don't know what, I don't believe in James Gunn, to be honest. I don't know what context you mean that in though, because Joker 1 made a fuck ton of money. So maybe in the context you're saying it like it doesn't matter because it doesn't fit the universe they're doing. None of that matters, in that regard, because it only matters on the money, the profit. Like at the end of the day, when you boil it all down, this is done for profit, if you couldn't pull a profit off it, most people probably wouldn't even be involved in it. So I would have to say, like, if it's making that money, it's worth it. But if you mean like as a connected universe, the way I view it, I wouldn't even give a shit. I don't even know why they're fucking dealing with this connected universe shit. I think they are still trying to, they still think it's 2013. They're still trying to ride Marvel's train of success, their money train. You see the Godzilla -1? No, I've been dying to watch Godzilla -1. I missed it in theater, and I don't even know when it's coming out. When is it coming out? Godzilla minus one. Godzilla. What's a Blu-ray release? Is there no release date for it? March 22nd, August 1st for United States. Why is it taking so long for that movie to get it released? I'm hyped about that. I heard that was really good. They're probably going to make a Grand Theft Auto movie or TV show next. That'd be a more tricky one to do, I think. You could do anything, really. But to make it interesting, that'd be a little tricky. It could be done. It's probably one of the easier ones to do, to be fair. Because you pull from, what makes it interesting. And I have to say, though, the open world is like such a big part. They don't have to, but it would be such a fucking awesome scene to show a character traversing part of travel in a large open world view, one shot, one take, traversing, but then also getting into some type of action scene and then calming down and, calm down, slowly walking away, all within one take, one edit. We're talking like, going high and going low and in and out of alleyways, like some cool shit, really showing off part of the world, I think that would be a must if you were going to do a Grand Theft Auto movie. I want a standalone villain movies that build up to something. Thoughts? If done right, yeah, I'm game. I'm game. When it comes to entertainment, I'm game for a lot of it, as long as they do it right. If there's a reason for it. And if you're saying standalone, like, no bullshit, do it standalone. Don't do it and then go, oh, well, now that it's successful, let's do 7 more. Go for that. Do a contained story. Leave it as it is. What actor could play the cowboy in the movie Red Dead Redemption? I'm not even sure. There's probably a load of actors. Unless it's an obvious casting thing, my brain just shuts down when it comes to casting. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know. I just can't even compute it. Because it doesn't even matter. If someone is not there on my mind, my brain just can't even hunt down who would do it, Because it doesn't matter. They could cast anybody they want it. They can't release -1 this year because of the Kong release this year, I read. That's fucking stupid. Why not? Well, why does it say August 1st then? Yeah, we talked about Trap already. That looks good. The other day, slightly better than Scarface, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I can see why someone would like Carlito's Way better. I think it's more not polished, but more cleaner looking, more modern looking movie than Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way looks like an old movie. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play any more Dead Island 2. I played most of it though. I believe I beat Dead Island 2. Which is the one where there's Dead Island 2. I think that's the one I beat. What's the other one? Dying Light 2. I got bored of fast, but I did beat Dead Island 2, which I enjoyed. I wish there was just more interesting world building and storytelling. A lot of these games have like really flimsy, goofy. It's almost like they must do it now. Like, hey, well, let's do a open world zombie game. Okay, well, let's do this goofy thing where they take a guitar and they wrap barbed wire around it, and then the end of it can shoot out a nail, which turns into a flower, and it's it just gets goofy as fuck, you know? I would love if they just made something like that, but do it gritty. If they were doing it gritty, man, just go for something like The Last of Us, where it's third person. And I was even in the video game aisle just today, because after I move, I'm gonna relax and I would like to play a game. However, I'm in the video aisle and I'm like, it's 2024, and our games suck. Like, let's be real. Like, even the ones that are decent and fun to play are few and far between. It's fucking absurd. How the fuck do we have all this great technology and the amount of games that we have, you know, within reach is pathetic? There should be multiple well-made, post-apocalyptic zombie games. To give you one example, I shouldn't have to go, okay, I really want to play this. All right, I'm going to play Last of Us again, Days Gone again. And I know people are like, well, there's a million zombie games, but there's a million shit zombie games. And I don't want no first-person zombie games because they always have that same first-person look, and it's clunky, and the characters always fall like this. They have the worst ragdoll looks. Their whole body goes flying backwards like this, you know? Like, it just looks terrible. We should have multiple, not Last of Us related games that are similar to Last of Us or Days Gone, post-apocalyptic. Like, it should be out. We should be crushing it. We should be like, calm down. You know, you made enough. Like, chill. Give us a year off. No. And then when it comes to like war games even, don't even tell me Call of Duty. You know, there's just so much shit out there. It's unfucking believable. And like I said, even the decent games, like I had a lot of fun with Alan Wake 2, and that was a fucking joke. It's not even Alan Wake 2. I had fun playing the cop. You know what I mean? She had the most action. Alan Wake just walked around and played with his nuts. The rest of it was, not even his game. And it was still held back to some degree. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but that's the same with video games, the same with movies, the same with TV shows. How are we we're living in the future, and the offerings that we get for entertainment suck. Fucking suck. In comparison, as a whole, it sucks. You could be like, oh, I love, Red Dead Redemption 2. What, fucking 7 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad you love a game from fucking 8 years ago. World War Z games sucked, I had fun playing it, but it's not that great. It's just a level burner. You know what I mean? You run through the same levels, you shut your brain off, you just shoot at hordes, and again, World War Z, that game came out years ago. Fuck, man, like 5 years ago. So Last of Us, Days Gone are pretty much the only good zombie games, and that's due to the atmosphere and the gameplay. Not a lot of running zombie games. The atmosphere, the gritty. I love it being that realistic, gritty, just fucking, and then throwing some zombies. We should have at least 3 more offerings for that. And I don't mean like copycats that are clunky and look like it. I mean actually playable. The story doesn't even have to be complicated and philosophically amazing in all of them. Just give us a decent story. Give us a simple story, but give us some crisp, awesome looking game graphics. I mean, fuck. If anything, games are getting worse. I'm seriously asking, but what's Gamergate? Gamergate old, or is there a new Gamergate? The old Gamergate originally started because some girl that was making video games fucked a guy that reviewed her video game, and he gave her video game an amazing review, and her video game sucked ass. But everyone was like, well, wait a minute. You did your review and you never mentioned that you fucked her, Most people in journalism will mention like, hey, I have had a personal relationship, so that way that's not a biased review. Well, that journalist didn't do that. That was the very beginning seeds of Gamergate, which was, hey, this is a fucking problem. The journalistic integrity is gone. And that started a whole whirlwind of shit that turned into Gamergate, which was basically a shit show by the end of it. I don't know why anyone's talking about Gamergate modern day, though, unless something else happened. I love Dead Rising 1, although it's clunky at parts. Definitely clunky, Dead Rising. Not zombies, but have you played Grounded? Pretty fun. You mean Grounded from The Last of Us? Yeah, I've played Grounded. Should be too many opinions of games to play in a day. How are we struggling this much? It's insane. Yeah, film and games are absolutely stuck in the mud currently. Days Gone is incredible, in my opinion. Wish it got a sequel they were setting up. I really want more Days Gone. That'd be amazing. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 was good. I didn't play any Final Fantasy 7, but we should have a list of great games. And I don't mean like, I liked it. No, I mean fucking great. You should pull out a list and be like, I don't care who you are. Chances are you'll love this game, this game, this game, and this game. Think about, we got Last of Us, and let's talk just zombie fans. We got Last of Us in 2013. The remaster, the remake, it doesn't count. I love the fact they remastered it. Don't get me wrong. Because you could play the game you love and it looks amazing. It plays so much better. However, it's still the same shit we got 11 fucking years ago. 11 years ago when it comes to a zombie fan. One great game 11 years ago. And then I was going to say, and then we haven't had anything similar when it's the third person. I know people keep saying like State of Decay or whatever. Those games suck, okay? Especially MMO. Don't even fucking mention an MMO. No one takes MMO seriously, Anyhow, so that was 11 years ago. And then you got Days Gone. When did that come out? 2018? Some shit like that. You're talking 6 fucking years? What are we, 2024? 6 fucking years. Was it? Maybe 2019 it came out. I might be wrong. That's still 5 years ago. That's crazy that companies know you can make great money, and they can't follow a simple formula of great graphics, realistic physics with the zombies, zombie gore, guns, knives, decent landscape, atmosphere. Just unfucking believable. Do you like State of Decay game? No, I don't. I might play more with a PC, but I'm not big on isn't it that an MMO? I'm not big on those games. I have not played 7 Days to Die. I know you could build stuff. I'm not big on first person. If I have nothing else to play, I'll play first person zombie games, but they usually have the same clunky look and the same clunky problems. I do have fun with them, don't get me wrong, but it's like I enjoy them only when there's nothing else left. You know what I mean? If you haven't played before, but I recommend BioShock series. I grew up on BioShock. I've definitely played it before. It's my favorite of all time. I think you would enjoy the story and vibe of the first one. Yeah, like I said, I grew up. I played BioShock when it first came out. I'd probably enjoy replaying it. I know one of them I didn't even play much of. I think it was the BioShock Infinite. Might have been. One of them I didn't play a lot of, but the original BioShock and BioShock 2, if I remember right, I played the shit out of those, and I liked them a lot. I like the world building, the world they put them in, and that was a long time ago. Now I think about it. It's that old already? Yeah. No, fuck that. I can't take that anymore. Remasters. Did you like the game Fear? I don't think so. Nah, I forget what about Fear, but it was one of those. I just couldn't. Wait a minute. Is this a really old one? Let me look this up because I think I did enjoy it, but it's one of those kind of forgettable. Isn't this the cover Fear game. No, not the movie. I remember there being a really old one that I liked. Yeah, with the girl on the cover. Do you mean this? I think I played Fear and Fear 2. This is old as shit, though. I wouldn't even count this as a game. Just because I want modern games. I mean, these are old, man. Let me just pull this up. Do you mean these games? These Fear games? Where's the... Yeah, this cover right here. This Fear. Am I in the way? Yeah. I think actually... Yeah, right here. You can see. Do you mean like this Fear? Yeah, right here is the one I had. PlayStation 3, Fear. Where's that girl? Right here. That one right there. Fear 2. First Encounter Assault. Yeah, this is old though. I think I'm growing like a frustrated relationship with. Yeah, I played Resident Evil Biohazard. I grew up on Resident Evil. I played every single one of them since I was a kid. But I don't want to go back and play, like Resident Evil is probably one of the most memorable video games, zombie video games, but like it's trash current day. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's old. It's very old. Like, I don't want to go play an old game. I like some retro games. I like playing some of them, some nostalgic. Very little, though. I want new, I want modern day games. I don't want shit from 1998. You know what I'm saying? You keep referring to 7 Days to Die. I know what you're saying. I'm not sure why you keep bringing it up, though. I get what you're saying. I have played the demo. I wasn't really... I might have only played like 10 minutes of it. I just wasn't into it that day, doing the first person. I think it was right around when I played Sons of the Forest. No, The Forest. The second one's called Sons of the Forest. They have a new game called Judas that comes out next year that the creators of BioShock made. It looks extremely good from the trailer. All about storytelling. Judas game comes out when? Did you say? Oh, next year? Yeah. I don't mean to be a dick, but I don't give a shit about a game that comes out next year. I'm so burned out from everything when it comes to gaming. Here's this really amazing game. It comes out in 6 years. Only because we all are still waiting for years for games to come out. And then by the time they come out, it's either a scam, like the day before the day they scammed us. Judas could look cool as hell. It comes out next year. I might even be dead next year. I don't fucking care about next year. Same thing with Ill. Remember Ill? Ill looked fucking ill. And I've been waiting for that game for years. And I don't know anything about it. And chances are it's not coming out because no one fucking heard anything about it. So, but I want to be honest, but I don't mean that to be mean. I'm so burned out of this game looks amazing. It's coming out in years because you know what happens when it gets closer to coming out, it's not as good, doesn't look as good. And we're barely talking about it or it's delayed. I want to know what I can play in a couple months. Is there anything or something that's out now? There should be shit right now in 2024. I barely play games right now. There should be a handful of games where you guys are like this, and this, And it ain't, you could say like you're just ultra picky. I don't buy that at all. Because I know for a fact these games are rough. I'm not dealing with anything with XCOM. I think I remember playing that like for 5 minutes. I remember I had the game. I don't know why I didn't stick with it, but I'm not into XCOM. Remember that game, Super Nintendo, Zombies Ate My Neighbors? Yeah, I remember that. We try Stalker 2 when it comes out. When? Next year? Yeah, I'll try Stalker 2. Well, something coming out soon, though. What are upcoming games I'm looking forward to? Fucking any that are coming out soon. I remember seeing a gameplay trailer for Days Gone, seeing open world zombie game. Yeah, the trailer was awesome. RoboCop was bad. It was fucking terrible. I wasted money on that. I mean, XCOM 2 might be the best, but it's old. I mean, I don't want to play it. I don't want to. I guess I'm also frustrated. Like, I don't care to rehash like old games. Not right in this moment. I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, it might have been old, but it might have been good, but it's old. It doesn't matter now. It's not good now. I hate the Evil Dead. The game got abandoned. Could have been a good game. They only made it to be a cash grab though, so it never had a chance. Well, we were speaking of BioShock. It was relevant to the convo last. Yeah, I was just giving you an honest, an honest feel of a frustrated, gamer that is just sick of everything being years away. But I don't mind you mentioning it. It's not like you can't mention it. Bring it up. I ain't mad at you. It makes you wonder what's really going on in the gaming industry with lackluster games. Something's going on because it's not a coincidence that these games are not hitting. Hey mate, hope you've been well. Currently on lunch at work, so we'll chill for a tiny bit. Oh, sorry, Goonsack Steve. I'm about to be out of here though. Have you seen Fallout or Shogun? I haven't seen Shogun yet. I really want to check that out. I have seen Fallout. It's decent. I finished it. I enjoyed it. It is missing greatness though. It's good. It just has something missing. Rockstar Games could have had the rights for the video game gone dead. They could have. Fallout is very good, says Elvis. Have you seen anything about Rise of the Ronin? I don't know if that gameplay. Originally, I wanted to play Rise of the Ronin, but I think that type of is there a name for it other than FromSoft? That type of like FromSoft combat has me not as excited. You know what I mean? Well, if it's on clearance, I'm definitely trying it. I still have interest. Yeah, it looks like Ghost of Tsushima, but the gameplay looks more like FromSoft. So I don't know. I just played Stellar Blade demo. Game was actually really decent. Story and characters are ridiculous though. It comes out Friday. Stellar Blade is something I've heard a lot about, but let me look that up because I forget. I just forget what that even looks like.
Ready to see more from upcoming?
Shut up. So this is Stellar Blade. Yeah, the gameplay already looks, well, it still kind of has that. What's a good name for it though? It's like that fantasy action style gameplay that just kind of missing that grit. Something about guns, the way they sound, the way they hit, the impact has that oomph. Some of the fighting here, especially like when she does that very first attack where she comes down with the heavy sword, that just feels like so generic, and it still looks great, don't get me wrong, but generic in a way that feels like right here in this, I think it's this scene. How to put it where I'm not trying to be overly negative, but it feels like I've played a dozen games that used this exact, attack, fight, style, look. And I know there's a chance I could have some fun, but I'm also kind of bummed out because it feels like a reskin of a game I've played 18 times already. This attack coming up. See that one right there where she goes and does the young. I'm telling you what, man, that's from like 7 other games. And yeah, that attack right there. But yeah, that one right there. Bro, that looks, maybe I'm thinking of a game that's like fucking, I don't know. If this was out, I'd probably grab it.
Let's go. It's collapsing. Damn it. Run!
Is there more fighting? Come on. Yeah, if it was that, I'd probably grab it. But I don't know. It's not like, have I played Elden Ring? Never even heard of that one. Yeah, very basic action RPG looking. Beat Saber, that's an amazing game. That wins all the awards. It's 4 a.m. UK. Committed. Do you like 2009 Friday? I do, actually. I do. It's got its problems. Definitely has its problems. But I like it a lot better than I did the very first time I saw it. The very first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, come on. You know? It's grown on me. I wish they would remake Evil Dead game in a Resident Evil style. Evil Dead game made in, you know, with a real attempt would be awesome. Do you want any other video games adapted into movies right now? Not right now, no. I don't care. Well, no, it's not that I don't care. It's just I just don't have a want. Like, I just don't have like a, ooh, I want them to take this game and make it into a movie. They could, they couldn't. Right now, it's like, it is what it is. Hollow says, I don't know where you got this from, though. It seems like you need that PC to play old games you like with mods added. The only one would be Days Gone. I don't need any mods added to any. Like, I maybe you misunderstood something I said. I don't want to play old games. Like, mods or no, I don't want at all. Like, the only reason I talk about Days Gone is just because they made a new mod. And apparently it looks great, and I love that game. And I do want to replay it. I've only played it. I've replayed it twice, you know, but I've played it to beat it twice, and that's probably a lot. But I do want to replay it. I haven't played it in a while, and if they have mods for it, why not? I hear it looks awesome. It gives the graphics a great look. But outside of Days Gone, like, I do not want to play old games. You know, I want something new. You know what I mean? I don't want to play old Resident Evil games. I don't want to play old whatever. I'm not, maybe you heard me wrong, but I don't want to play them. I want new shit. And especially since retro is a weird one. There's a few games, retro games, that still appeal to me. But for the most part, like, they suck. Like, old games back then were groundbreaking. But today, like, I can't play the original Resident Evil today. Like, that's a terrible modern day game to play. It's clunky. It's terrible. The voice acting, like, it's all awful. And it's nostalgic, but I can't sit there and play it more than like 20 minutes and get a little nostalgic flair. However, if there's newer games and the new PC can run them, I'm game. You know, I'll play the shit out of that. Could definitely see his PlayStation Plus soon. The Warriors needs a remastered game. Button masher. Yeah, button mashers are to me, they get a little boring. Looks like Devil May Cry. Yeah, it does a little bit. There was some misled and false claims about Fallout retconning previous games, but already, if you're watching the show carefully, we'll know there was no retcon. Game creators later confirmed no retcon too. It would have went right over my head. Fallout is not a game where I retained any of the lore almost at all. Very bare minimum of the lore I actually retained. So for me, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have changed it totally. I probably wouldn't have Like I forgot the details of the ghoul. You know what I mean? Like shit. The knights. To be honest, I totally forgot about the knights somehow. When I first saw him, I was like, "What the fuck's Warhammer doing here?" You know, I'm joking, but still, I forgot a lot of the knights. So yeah, I didn't remember any of it. Hack and slash style. Hack and slash could be fun, but it does get a little old. You can play the demo of Stellar Blade now. It's a PS5 exclusive. Releases Friday. Definitely a Souls-like game, but has. You know what? I am gonna do the demo. I can't do it now. I already packed my PS5. I'm gonna be moving, in 2 days. So once I get settled, it's gonna take a little bit. It's gonna take like a week or two, just because I'm working overtime. I'm on call and all that, and moving. So it's going to take a bit, but I definitely will download the demo and play it. They still keep usually the demo once they release the game for at least a little bit after it's released. So hopefully they do that, and I'll play the demo. If it's worth it, maybe I'll cop the game. Outlast games, I can only deal with them so long because you don't do anything but hide. So when I first played Outlast, I loved it, 2 hours, 3 hours in, I start being like, oh man, that's a bummer. I can't fight back. You hide the whole time. 5 hours in, I quit. I can't take it anymore. But that seems to be like my limit. Like 1 to 3 hours, I can really enjoy something. Around 5 hours is like my breaking point to where it's like, okay, I've had enough, and Outlast is definitely one of those games. I've wanted the replay. I've only ever played one Outlast game. I have all three, or I have 3 of them. I always wanted to go back and replay them because I did really enjoy the first couple hours. But knowing that I can't attack the enemy, I just can't find an interest in it. Really want a new Nightmare on Elm Street film? Same. Some of the bosses in that game are so unbelievably brutal, and the art is insane. I'm not sure what game you meant, though, because we kind of talked about other games. Once we get more good video games, and Ronnie will want to film adaptations. Exactly, Steven. You're on to me. I think the Elden Ring DLC releases in June. I'm interested in that. Hogwarts Legacy. See, I don't know anything about Harry Potter, but I hear good things about the game. I might actually pick that up on sale. Elden Ring is an open world made by people who made Dark Souls. I was joking, Zag. I streamed the entire Elden Ring game from beginning to end, and I beat it on stream. You know what I'm saying? I thought you were joking because, but clearly you weren't. But yeah, I was just joking. Did you ever play a game Darkside? No. That character from DC or some other Darkside? Starfield, I was never into Starfield. I played a little bit of Skyrim. My brother loves it. It's dated now. I won't play it though. It's old. They might have mods to make it better, but I probably won't play it now. I'm not into Warcraft. Not into the movie. Not into Warcraft. Not into Dungeons and Dragons. Not into what's that other one? Other popular Warhammer. Is that not into any of those? Anything that's like a turn-based type, like a board game type look, right? Top-down type. Yeah, anything that's any of those. And it's hard. It's usually hard for me to get into fantasy, but that's why it took me so long to get into Game of Thrones. I can watch fantasy and I can enjoy, like I loved Lord of the Rings. It took me my brother had to like tell me we're going to see this, and I loved it, except for the ending. I hated it, but I didn't know it was a trilogy. And then I was like, okay, this is cool. But Willow, I grew up on. That's fantasy, but it's really hard for me to go, oh, I'm going to watch that. I think Game of Thrones opened my eyes where I said, you know what? Okay, there's some fantasy movies and shows and games where I might not be in the mood, but once I start watching it or playing it, it's really good and I'm hooked, Game of Thrones really. So now I give it a little more leeway. How many hours did it take you to beat Elden Ring? I played a fuck ton, bro. It was a lot. It was easily over 100 hours. Absolutely. Honestly, Rodden is. I've never played Madden a day in my life. I've never played a football game on a football video game a day in my life. I might have like thrown a football once at like a cousin's house. That is it. I've played baseball, but I've never played football. I've played some basketball. Yeah, some of the best ones were the older ones. To be honest, Sega Genesis and all that. But no, I really like. I have fun with side scrollers. I think that's just because the games that I loved as a kid. But the type of game I love is, obviously, I adore anything that's post-apocalyptic. However, my thing is, I like when it's not cartoony. I like when it's as realistic as possible. And shooting is almost a necessity. It doesn't have to be, but I really like when they're shooting, but I like when it's not video game like. Like, for example, some video games are video gamey where it has the enemy's health bar on top. When you shoot them, all these points go in the air for your experience and all this shit. Dead Island 2 was like that a lot. Like, there's names popping up everywhere of this and this and this. It's not that I don't like them. I prefer not to have that shit in it. I like the more realistic, like Last of Us. I keep bringing that up as an example. Days Gone, even, I bring that up repeatedly back to back. But those are like, that's my sweet spot when it comes to enjoying a game. Even if it wasn't a post-apocalyptic zombie game, getting that type of grounded but responsive, like when you attack the enemies. I hate in first-person games where the enemy does that ragdoll. You throw their whole body and it's just like this ragdoll flying through the air. Like, I can't stand that shit. MLB The Show I'm talking about. I like shooters like Gladius Life Force. I read that right? Gladius Life Force. Which show? NBA Jam? Yeah, that was the shit. I had no idea you beat Elden Ring. Yep, I beat it. I definitely used summons, though, and I am not at all ashamed about it. I really like I was even watching some gameplay of Elden Ring, and I thought, man, like, that was probably one of the coolest adult experiences playing a video game. I had a ton when I was a kid, right? Because that was like video games were, just the technology just kept beating. Each game after the next, the technology was just getting better and better. But as an adult, like, Elden Ring was just so fun. However, there's a part of it that I am not at all interested in, and that is repeatedly going in to fight an enemy boss and just memorizing the attack patterns like crazy. I am not at all. I would rather not play the game than to do that. So that's why I used summons. They're summons, right? And I have no problems with that because it made the game more interesting. I can fight the boss and then get frustrated and bring a summons in and help kind of level the playing field. It made it enjoyable. But how about the Metro series? Exodus was my favorite. Metro was surprising. At first it seemed clunky, but I ended up enjoying that a lot. I bought and played all 3 of the Metro games, and the Exodus was really good. I wasn't really into the characters and the story, but it was just enough to where it didn't hinder my experience playing the game, I did not know there was an animated Walking Dead show planned, but let's be honest, no one was watching that. Well, it's not happening right now because AMC's the ones who have all the control, so no worries there. Talking about shooters like spaceship games. Well, you mean like retro shooters? Because, yeah, like when I'm 12 at the arcade playing a shooter, I had a lot of fun. But modern day, I mean, I can probably play 15 minutes of like a retro game and enjoy it. Maybe like at my brother's, we're having dinner and I pick up the controller and play a retro game, and I can enjoy it, pass the controller to my nephew or something, and then, play another 30 minutes. But if it comes to like me working and then coming home and I want to find a game to enjoy, I don't enjoy retro games at all. Usually I want to play something that's new, modern. I want it to be off the hook. So when I say a shooter now, I mean like, first person shooter type. Did you rune farm the underworld? I don't know what that means at all. From the underworld. Oh, wait a minute. Is that it was runes in Elden Ring, wasn't it? Wasn't that your money? Did I rune farm underworld? Is that the one with those little guys with whips and shit? Because I definitely rune farm the shit out of them a little bit. You could watch all my streams and see what I did, but if you mean the little guys, remember the lion? There was like a beast man, and he was in this little entranceway, and there was like a statue of a cat guy with a hard as fuck to fight. I went there and fought them a number of times, to the point where I used them as practice learning my patience when it comes to the attack patterns. And that helped me a lot, fighting them. And I would travel there and fight them. And I believe they were worth a good amount of runes. So I did farm a little bit. Yeah, I definitely did that, if that's what you mean. I don't know what the normal way is, though. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like... because how would you, because I was going to say, like, do you mean like not going and exploring certain areas, or maybe I'm just not understanding it? Well, I guess you mean go purposefully to that area to fight them to get runes then, right? So I definitely didn't level up the normal way, not totally. But I also didn't rune farm like a psychopath either. Metro has grown on me a lot. Didn't like it at first. Yeah, I would say I was about the same way. You ever play New Vegas? I think I did. A little bit. I just don't remember it. Some of the Fallout games, to me, they run a little samey, and I often have to take a break. I can really enjoy them, start playing them a bit, but I have to take a break, come back a week later. Fallout never really hooked me to where I was like, I want to just play this and not put it down. Dying Light was pretty fun, but after a while it gets stale. Yeah, Dying Light for me was, You did? Did you watch my streams? Yes, I did. For sure, at least they're trying. Makes me feel like the final Hail Mary they gave us. Dishonored and Wolfenstein were also some of my favorites. I like them as well. Best part of them being older is that you should be able to get those games for cheap. Yeah, I just don't have interest in playing older games. Like, I already have all the Wolfensteins. I think there's only 2, right? 2 or 3. I think there's 2 and an add-on. Dishonored, I think there's also a Dishonored 2, isn't there? That's one I don't remember. I remember I had it. I remember playing it, but it didn't really stick with me. But the Wolfenstein I remember better just because I grew up playing Doom and Wolfenstein. Yeah, you know what's funny is when I was younger, I adored first-person shooters. Like when Call of Duty and Medal of Honor were like new, maybe like the first, second game. And yeah, it was, I think Medal of Honor was older actually. When they were coming out on PS1, PS2, first-person shooters were my all-time favorite. I think when it came to PS3, and not to keep mentioning The Last of Us, but I think it was with The Last of Us, I was in a transition where I was less interested in first-person shooters, and because of the visuals is clunky. And I don't know why, but the visuals do seem more clunky with first-person shooters. Last of Us, the original, was the game where I was like, damn, you know what? I think I prefer third person point of view, you know? And now that is my preferred way to play. I like to see the character. I like to go into that world. I love that. It looks better. It plays better. It's better, more responsive. I like it. Have you ever played Mafia games? Yes, I played those. I played the remaster. What was it? Whatever the Mafia, the definitive edition. I even streamed some of that. The day before was a disaster. That was that one, right? That was a scam. GTA, but Mafia, no open world online play. Was you a fan of Borderlands that got to be a movie? Was your fan of Borderlands that going to be a movie? Are you drunk? I'm not a fan of Borderlands. I played it. It was okay. Too cartoony looking for me, though, to hold my interest. I was talking about Wolfenstein series that started in 2014. Yes, the new one, Wolfenstein, and yeah, those are the ones I was talking about too, Hollow. I mentioned the old one because I grew up on the old one. And that's why I remember the new ones, more succinct, is just because of the franchise. I grew up since I was a kid playing it. But the new ones, I think Wolfenstein and the new Colossus, or whatever the fuck they called it, and I forget the other ones. I have those games though. They're boxed up right now. I think there's 3 Wolfenstein newer ones. There's either 2 and an add-on or 3 of them, but I have them in physical copy. So World War Z is fun, especially the co-op mode. I had a little bit of fun, but I just can't keep going with it. It's too repetitive. Do you want a Joker 3 if this is good? If it's great, yeah. I'm rarely one of those people that'll say like that's enough. I think there's times to say like that is enough. But if you can make 5 amazing movies of the same character, do it. You should only stop when that's enough. When you can't make it amazing. But I do got to get going. I actually just looked at the time and I was thinking, holy shit, I'm going to be cranky as fuck in the morning. Especially since once I move, I'm going to have to wake up even earlier because the drive time to work is going to be, it's going to suck. Just because the highway I take is going to be a bitch. See, my memory's so bad I can replay these games and they feel brand new for me because I forget the story. That's what I mean. Like some of them, like I totally blank on. And then when I'm playing it, I can start remembering chunks of it. Like we were just talking about Wolfenstein. Funny enough, I kept forgetting that I played Wolfenstein, and I would replay it. And right when the Wolfenstein character, I forget his name, he's in a nursing home or a rehabilitation home, and he had amnesia or some shit like that. Every time he starts to remember, I start to remember, oh, I already played this shit, And I think that happened like 3 times. I kept confusing because I played the one. I think that's the first Wolfenstein the new version of the Wolfenstein, and I thought it was the second game. And I went to put that in, and I'm like, holy shit, I did it again. I keep playing this game, And I meant to play the second Wolfenstein. Anyhow, there's 3 Wolfenstein games. The third was Youngblood. That's it. I'm pretty sure I have 2 out of the 3. That's probably why I thought the third one was an add-on. There was a 4th one called Obla. Let me pull up real quick. I don't want to do that. Hold on. This would be easier. Wolfenstein games. Yeah, so we got Wolfenstein. the New World, the New Order. I think that's the one that I kept playing over and over again. But we have here the New Order, the Old Blood, Wolfenstein 2, and then whatever the fuck that is. So I have the Wolfenstein, the New Order, and Wolfenstein 2. I got these two. So I need the Old Blood. I'm gonna have to double check though. And Young Blood is the fourth one. But I have these two. Oh, I do have that. The New Colossus. That I remember that title. So I have this one and this one. I don't think I've even played the Old Blood. Watch the Old Blood be the one where he's in the nursing home, and I keep forgetting this is it. But I remember these covers though. Like this cover, I know I have that. Imagine you're playing a video game in the late 90s and your mother walks in. She's like, what the fuck are you playing? It's got swastikas all over it. I swear it's not what it looks like. Yeah, look how shitty those graphics are, man. That's funny. Anyway, well, thank you for all you do on this channel and blah, blah, blah. Keep us good night. I'm tired. Forgive me. Old Blood is a zombie one. I don't think the story relates to the other three, but it's really good. It is good. Old Blood. I'm going to check that out. And it's a zombie one. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Let me look at this Judas gameplay, though, of BioShock creators. Since I just shit on it. Shut the fuck up and get to the gameplay, you stupid bitch.
It looks incredibly painful. And
Shut the fuck up, bro. That looks cool. Female protagonist. Not surprised. Come on, show us that gameplay. Your face is hanging off, yo. You got any fucking gameplay? Holy shit, people. There we go. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'm actually... Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'm surprised, though. It doesn't... It just looks a little more softer. Looks a little more softer than I remember. BioShock looking. Maybe it's just me. Where's that other? Fuck that up, but oh well. You know what I mean. Like here's the old BioShock. Maybe it's just because it's old, but it just looks like it has more grit. I had a lot of fun with this when it first came out, though. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it looks more cartoony. I'm still going to check it out whenever it comes out, though. It's called Judas. All right, guys. I'm fucking out of here. I'm going to bed. Did you watch the 2018 movie Overlord? That sounds familiar. Oh, is that the zombie one where they're in the army? I did see that. Old Blood is a zombie one. Overlord was an experience for me. High on Life with Talking Guns. Looks kind of like High on Life with Talking Guns. It does look like that one. Overlord was that one where they Yes, I've seen that. All right. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you very much for the support. If you guys have any suggestions, I'll probably stream again, though, before I make up my mind on what PC I want to get. But if you guys do have any suggestions, I am leaning towards something like, because I know things with the GPU and CPU and the PPP and the LLP and the FTT. I know things change a bit depending on what you're grabbing, but just to give you an idea, I was looking at something like a this one has an Intel Core i7 and it's a 13700F. I don't know if that matters, but 32 gigabyte memory with NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti, which I think would be great because I think in my computer now, my graphics card is like 13 years old. So, damn, it's low. I remember, damn, what was the, let me see if I have it here. Intel, right now, I do have an i7, and I think that's why I paid a little more at the time for what I have, because this was a i7 6700, 3.4 GHz, and 16 gigabyte RAM. That's why I want to go, I want to double that with 32. I think I need, what is this, 32? At least 32, and that's for video editing. And then do I have I got Windows 10. It's not going to tell me my graphics card. 64-bit operating system processor, 64-bit processor. Damn, I could have sworn it told me my graphics card though. Intel Core i7 6700 CPU at 3.40 gigahertz. I guess it doesn't say it. I could have sworn there was something. I'll have to look up how to see what graphics card I got. But I have a graphics card just sitting around I can mail to you for free. It's a GTX 1660 Ti. See, I don't know if would that be an upgrade. Would that be an upgrade? I mean, obviously it'd be an upgrade for this computer. I'm almost guaranteeing, right? I'll have to get in touch with you, Hollow, because I might try to upgrade this computer. Well, I think Discord has its benefits. I know everyone has one now, but I think it has its benefits because you can actually, it's essentially just a private, it's public, but it's essentially a singular space for, people in this clique to throw something up, and that's its basic use. I get other people go a little nuts over it and they get a little ridiculous, but we have it really chill. We might throw up, like if we've seen a new movie, we're not in there going nuts though, talking about this, that, and the third. It's real tame. You were doing 1440 at 120 hertz with it? No kidding. It runs 1080 at 170 frames. See, then that's definitely better than what I got, because I can't get 60 frames at 1080. I can't even get 60 frames. I think it at 1080, I think it struggles like Days Gone. On a good day, it'll struggle around 40 frames per second, 40 to 50. And that's with 1080, but all the graphics and stuff at a medium, not like ramped up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you can set it to where the atmosphere is there's more bushes and there's more this and that. That's at like, mid, but also 1080, and it's getting like 40, 45 frames per second. So, but I'll have to look up and see what it is though. Cause if it's, I don't know, I'll have to look it up, but we'll be in touch. I do appreciate the offer, Hollow. I appreciate that. John Rod said Fallout is amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it, bud. I gave it a recommend. I think it's definitely worth a watch. It's missing a little bit for me, but Hollow says it's 100% an upgrade. I bought a pre-built gaming PC and it came with it. Oh, that's what's up. And it probably is without a doubt an upgrade, because don't forget, this is a affordable PC from like 13 years ago when I bought it, 12 or 13. This is old. 360 frames. Do we need 360 frames? To see your CPU, you can look at your task manager and it's on one of them tabs. The CPU. Yeah, it says my CPU is a excuse me. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It says Intel Core i7 6700 CPU at 3.4 gigahertz. But isn't your graphics card going to be something like, I have the NVIDIA, I don't know, what is it? Like 1060 or what, isn't that like the old one? I could have sworn there was a way to, oh, hold up. Because I remember when I was cleaning the PC off one time, I remember it had like the brands of what I had in it. It's a 1660 Ti. They got websites where you can see if parts you have are compatible. All right, I'll look that up, Hollow. I appreciate that. Well, I'll be in touch because I definitely might take you up on that offer. Then maybe let this thing be able to play some Days Gone. All right, guys, have a good night and take it easy. And like I said, I'm moving this week, so next time you see me, it'll be the beginning of the new setup. And until then, I'm out of here. So be safe. Goodbye.